Now the next one is the supplementary reading. This unit 5. Supplementary reading. Unit 5 supplementary reading. The title is A Close Encounter. And it is told by Rex Cocker. Rex Cocker. A close encounter is a story, is a small sequence from a big story. There are geniuses and thinkers that live everywhere in small towns all over the world. Thinkers. What is the meaning of thinkers? Thinkers means persons who travel from one place to place selling or repairing things. It means a worker, a tinker on wheels. My brother was a tinkerer and spent much of his time coming up with new inventions that would keep him from having to overexert himself during the summer months when school was out. And by this we understand that the hero of this small short story is a schoolboy. And during his vacation, he is doing all these mending works and inventing things. He has got such a spirit. Having too much time on his hands, he would let his mind wander and he would sit down and apply his ideas to paper skillfully, blueprinting his inventions so he could try it out. Whenever he gets time, he used to draw the plan for the new machine, new invention, and that is called blueprinting. And later on, he may use it. The old chain bike, it is chain bike, a bicycle made in USA. Yes, with the heavy balloon type tires, sat upside down for weeks as he attached different things to the gear system of the bike, and he kept that bike, that means bicycle, upside down to attach something with that. It was kept upside down, and the gear system of the bike is seen at the top. The DC electric motor he bought from a local pawn shop for $20, and the old battery out of Dad's old Chevy were fast coming together. And he has bought some electric motor, DC electric motor from a pawn shop for $20, and he has taken out the old battery from the Dad's Chevy, and he is ready to do something. The motor was mounted on the main frame just below the bike's seat. Just below the bike's seat, then the motor was mounted. That means motor was bound. The battery was strapped down on the rack over the bike tire and fender. Fender means mudguard. Mudguard of the cycle. They call it bike. And the motor was mounted on the main frame just below the bike seat. The battery was strapped down on the rack over the back tire and fender. Two cables were run along the frame to a switch mounted on the crossbar between the handlebars and seat. Between the handlebars and the seat, and two cables were given, and at the end of the cables there was a switch. In the place of a sprocket. Sprocket is one of the teeth on the wheel of the bicycle. One of the teeth on the wheel of the bicycle, and the sprocket it is called, which drove the chain, was not a pulley but the fan belt of an old Yazoo lawn mower. Lawn mower was a type of a car it is, and they have taken out the belt from that and they are using it in their bike, that means the cycle. The pulley mounted to the steering, housed with a spring to keep tension on the belt, made the bike look like something out of a science fiction novel. And a pulley was mounted to the steering means handlebar, and housed with a spring to keep tension on the belt. There should be tension so that it may move very easily. If it is loose, it will be very difficult to ride the bike. Made the bike look like something out of science fiction novel. The day of the test run behind our house had us boys laughing with excitement. The day of the test run behind our house had us boys laughing with excitement. That means there are some other boys also, they are just mocking him. The test ride, mocking this test ride. My brother had placed the bike on the center block to raise the back tire off the ground. And he kept the bike in the center of the ground, and he hooked up the battery terminals and switched on the motor. It stirred to life and the back tire began to sing a high-pitched sound. And it made a big noise, annoying noise maybe. It was so cool to see his invention work, but the real test was about to be the most fun part of my summer, and one that I will never forget. That cannot be forget, the writer is saying. My brother, writer maybe it is the narrator, we can very well say. My brother saddled up on his beast of an invention, and this narrator is calling that bike a beast because it looked like such. Put his bike helmet on along with his leather gloves, and he was having the leather gloves and a helmet on his head. He threw his leg over the contraption. Contraption means contraption. It is the device. Contraption, device, and held his thumb up for contact, just like in those old war movies where the guy on the ground spins the propeller of the plane. Like in the old movies, the hero, one who was going to operate the plane. Before operating the plane, he would turn the propeller. In good old movies, you might have seen that in the war planes. And like that, and he was showing the thumbs up. I gave him the thumbs up also, and he pushed off to get the bike up to speed before throwing the switch. I gave him thumbs up, and the narrator is also giving thumbs up, and pushed him to go forward. We have lifted off, I yelled. That means he is shouting. My brother put his hand down and threw the switch, and the beast came to life, and the bike hurried off into the distance, and the bike started and it hurried. I tried to keep up with him, but the bike was much too fast, and the narrator tried to go behind him. He could not, because of the speed of the bike. He could not follow it. He could not go. Standing there out of breath with my hands on my knees, and he was just bending, and he kept his hands on his knees, and he was breathing. I could see my mother was having a little trouble turning the bike around. He turned it sharply around the corner and disappeared around the block. And in that block, he went behind that and he disappeared. When he reappeared minutes later, after a few minutes later, he comes up. and he was headed straight for me at a high rate of speed, and he was coming towards the narrator with a high speed. Tired as I was, I had to run for my life to keep ahead of the invention. And he was so tired, and he was bending and keeping his hands on his knees. So he had to run for his life. Darting through the double gate of the backyard, I managed to escape under the clothesline to the back fence. And the narrator just jumped out of his way and escaped. My brother was not so lucky, even though he had switched the motor off. His speed was too fast to stop, and the clothesline caught him under his chin and cut him a flip off the bike. A flip off. It is the light blow. Blow means just hit him, and he with even though he switched off the motor, he could not control his bike that went on and dashed against the fence. I thought he was dead, and I raced up over to help him. I turned him over, and he grabbed me, and we began to fight. And the narrator went up to him, and when he tried to lift him, the brother was shouting on him, shouting. He cursed at me and asked me why I did not help him to stop. I told him he should have let me ride it first. I am much shorter than he was, and maybe even shorter. Oh yeah, he said. Yeah, the narrator, what the narrator said is he must have allowed to ride the bike first because of the short figure. Why do you think that? He said, well, if you are smarter than me, you would have boiled off before the clothesline. Boiled off. Boiled off, that means escaped. You could have escaped before the clothesline. We started to laugh, and we looked in the direction of the invention, and they laughed at each other, and after that they are just looking at the machine. What happened to the machine? The tires were warped. Warped means bent. The tires were bent, and the battery had come loose and had flown into the neighbor's backyard, and the battery was just thrown out from that machine. My brother looked at me and made this statement. Well, look at this way, at least we had some quality time together today. Well, look at it this way, at least we had some quality time together today. That means he was just having the fun. He was having the time to spend with that machine. That's what the brother said. Let us see how the questions are asked in the public examination from this supplementary reader, a close encounter. And in April 2012, let us see in section A, it is in the second paper, English second paper, section A. Question number 4, complete the following sentences choosing the correct answer from the options given below. Complete the following sentences choosing the correct answer from the options given below. In that subdivision 5, the sprocket which drove the chain was replaced with dash. And there are some options given. A lawn mower. B, a pulley. And a fan belt. C, a motor and a battery. D, balloon type tires. Balloon type tires. And 4 options are given. A lawn mower, that is used for cutting the grass. A pulley and a fan belt. And a pulley he gets from the pawn shop, and in the fan belt he has taken it out from his father's Chevy, and a motor and a battery and a balloon type tires. The answer will be the pulley and a fan belt. The A pulley and a fan belt. The sprocket which drove the chain was replaced with a pulley and a fan belt. We have some questions at the back, and answer the following questions. Answer the following questions. The first question is, how would the brothers invention help him? How would the brothers' invention help him? His brothers' invention would keep him from over exerting himself during summer months. His brother's invention, that means the narrator's brother's invention would keep him from overexerting himself during summer months. Next question. What aided the brothers' attempt at inventions? What aided the brothers' attempt at inventions? A DC electric motor, bought from a pawn shop, and a battery from his father's Chevy helped the brothers attempt at his inventions. What aided the brothers' attempt at inventions? The DC electric motor bought from a pawn shop and a battery from his father's Chevy helped the brothers attempt at his inventions. The next question is, how was the bike? How was the bike constructed? How was the bike constructed? The motor was mounted on the main frame. The battery was strapped to the rack above the fender. The switch was mounted on the crossbar. Two cables were attached to it. In the place of the sprocket, there was a pulley. There was a pulley with a fan belt. With a fan belt. A pulley on the steering housing kept the tension of the belt. Tension of the belt. How was the bike constructed? The motor was mounted on the main frame. In the main frame, they just fit the motor. The battery was strapped to the rack above the fender. That means mudguard. Fender, mudguard. Above the mudguard, the battery was strapped. And they tied it. The switch was mounted on the crossbar. In the crossbar, in between the seat and the handlebar, it is called a crossbar. In the crossbar, the switch was mounted. Two cables were attached to it with the switch. In the place of the sprocket, there was a pulley with a fan belt. The fan belt, a pulley on the steering housing kept the tension of the belt. The belt was tied tightly so that it can pull it. Explain. Thumbs up. Explain, thumbs up. Thumbs up means something accepted as a success. In the old movies, it is a sign given by a man in front of a plane. He shows the sign after spinning the propeller. successfully. In the old movies, whenever they want to start a plane and the propeller will be rotated manually by a man, and if it is running successfully, he will just raise his hand and show the sign of thumbs up. And this has been followed by all, and that is what going on here. Thumbs up means something accepted as a success. In the old movies, it is a sign given by a man in front of a plane. He shows the sign after spinning the propeller successfully. What was the danger that befall the other brother? How did he manage to escape from the bike racing towards him? What was the danger that befall the other brother? How did he manage to escape from the bike racing towards him? All of a sudden, he saw his brother's bike heading straight for him. It came very fast. At once, he ran for his life. He darted through the double gate and ran under the clothes line to the back fence. The bike was heading towards him. It was just coming towards him. All of a sudden, he saw his brother's bike heading straight for him. It came very fast. At once, he ran for his life. He darted through the double gate and ran under the clothes line to the back fence. The next question is, what happened to the rider on the bike? What happened to the rider on the bike? The rider on the bike could not stop his bike. The clothes line caught him under the chin and he fell down. The rider on the bike, the brother, the narrator's brother, he was just heading very fast. He was coming back. He took a round of that building and he came to very fast towards his brother, and the brother escaped. The rider on the bike could not stop his bike. The clothes line caught him under the chin and he fell down. That means the cloth line just caught him in his under his chin and he fell down. But thank God he escaped. The next question is a paragraph question. Answer the following as given in your test. How did the encounter bring the brothers closer to each other? How did the encounter bring the brothers closer to each other? The brother on the ground escaped by running under the clothes line, but the clothes line caught the rider under his chin and he fell down. Now the brothers who escaped came to his rescue. Who escaped came to his rescue. Now, how did the encounter bring the brothers closer to each other? It is the later part of the story. Later part. And after that escape, what happened? That is what given in this passage. The brother on the ground escaped by running under the clothes line. That means the narrator escaped. The bike was heading towards him. So by seeing that, he was very much afraid and just escaped under the line. But the clothes line caught the rider under his chin. The rider, that means the narrator's brother, was caught under his chin and he fell down. Now the brother who escaped came to his rescue. He just came towards him. But the rider grabbed him and they started fighting. Now the rider's brother said that he was smarter. He should have been allowed to ride first. If it were so, he would have boiled off before clothes line. Now both of them broke into laughter. they were happy that they had a quality time that day. But the rider grabbed him and they started fighting. And the brother, he came to his rescue, and this brother, the rider, grabbed him and they started fighting. Now the rider's brother said that he was smarter. He should have been allowed to ride first. That means the bigger brother would have been ride the bike first. If it were so, he would have boiled off before clothesline. Before the clothesline, the brother, the big brother, would have been put off the bike. Now both of them broke into laughter, and they laughed at each other, and they were happy that they had a quality time that day. They had a very good time that day. This is the paragraph given, and please go through that. Now let us see how the questions are asked in the public examination in April 2012. In April 2012, English second paper, English second paper. In section A, question number 4. Complete the following sentences choosing the correct answer from the options given below. And the subdivision 5, the sprocket which drove the chain was replaced with dash. And the options are given: A lawn mower, B a pulley, and a fan belt. Next option is a motor and a battery. Next option is balloon type tires. 4 options are given for this. The sprocket which drove the chain was replaced with a lawn mower, a pulley and a fan belt, a motor and a battery, and the balloon type tires. And it was replaced with a pulley, the option B, a pulley and a fan belt. Again, the sprocket which drove the chain was replaced with a pulley and a fan belt. And in October 2012, there was no questions from this topic, and also in April 2012 also no questions taken from this topic, and in June in June 2013. And it was also question number 4, complete the following sentences choosing the correct answers from the options. Subdivision 2, The narrator's brother was a dash, and the options are student, teacher, tinker, doctor. The narrator's brother was a dash. Student, teacher, tinker and doctor. The narrator's brother was a tinker, that we have already seen in this text. Tinker, going place to place, selling things. In the same question paper, September 2013, the same question paper, match the following. Question number 3, match the following. Subdivision C, tinkerer, Rex Cocker's brother. Tinkerer, Rex Cocker's brother. So, by reading this, by seeing this, you must know that the narrator's name. If you know the narrator's name, you will be able to find out the answer from this. And question number 4, complete the following sentences choosing the correct answer from the options given below. And the subdivision 4, the tinker applied his ideas to paper skillfully dash his invention. Dash his invention. The options are given: drawing, B, copying, C, sketching, D, blueprinting. Blueprinting. The tinker applied his ideas to paper skillfully dash his invention. And his inventions, he has applied it, he has drawn in a paper, that is called blueprinting. 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 The tinker applied his ideas to paper skillfully. Blueprinting his inventions.